not about me and my mom.
Yeah, okay. So if you want to just introduce yourself, I guess, is a good place to start.
Yes, well, my name is Thomas, and I work in the press group in Christiania, and I live here, and I've been living here 5 years. Back in '71, this whole area had been empty for years. It used to be military barracks, and it used to be a defense line protecting Copenhagen. But then it was empty for a long time. The commune and the state did not want to have a lot of soldiers running around inside the city. And so a lot of people who were homeless at the time thought, that is crazy. There's a giant area in the middle of the city, big buildings and a beautiful place and so on that is not being used. And here we are, a lot of homeless people and a lot of people who want to live in a different way. So they simply just went in and took the area very quickly. It was hundreds of people in here, and that's how it started back in '71. So ever since then, it's actually been a squat. When people moved in here in the '70s, they were of course inspired by a lot of the youth movement of that time, and so they decided they did not want a hierarchical society. So they, from the beginning, made a flat structure with a consensus democracy, which means that we don't vote about our decisions. We discuss them until we agree, and then we compromise until we agree, so that we're always going together. And that is, in some aspects, very difficult and very hard, because you have to talk a lot. But on the other hand, when you walk out from the meeting, you can look each other in the eyes and you're on the same team. And I think this flat structure is very important for Christiania. To be able to have the kind of freedom to actually liberate the individual within the collective, like to build the house you want and so on. It's important that you shouldn't have to go and ask an authority, but you're actually the authority along with your friends. There are, I think, about 8 music venues here with stages, and often there are extra venues outside with a stage that was made for the day, and it's a very culturally active place. There's a lot of people going out too.
So I heard that Bob Dylan played here.
Yes.
Is that true? Yeah.
Yeah, that was a long time before I came here. But yeah, I heard that he played in the Grey Hall, and it was very good, and everyone loved it. And then later he wanted to go to the local bar, Woodstock. And so he went there, and he went to the bar and ordered a beer. And the local bartender is like, hey, you can't be standing in the bar and drinking, you have to go down, in Danish. And he's like, excuse me? And she's like, du bliver nødt til at gå ned bagved. Altså, you have to go down back. Okay, other customers have to come in here. And the others come like, hey, it's Bob Dylan, what are you doing? And she just states, I don't care if it's fucking Bruce Springsteen. Listen, you just go in the back, next customer.
Oh my god.
I love that story.
That's a great story, yeah. Especially she said Bruce Springsteen.
Exactly.
Like, not the president, you know.
Yeah. No. I don't care if it's Bruce.
Springsteen. Yeah. How insulting must Bob Dylan have been?
Exactly. What I love to see them. A lot of people come here also, famous people, but you know, it's not like I think, I don't know if they particularly like to come here, but if they do, it's probably because they don't get treated that much different. Yeah. So when you get into Christiania, it's like getting into another world, and you're not quite sure what that is. But when you've been here like 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and walked around a bit, then most people who had maybe a lot of prejudice against this sort of, what is this unorganized, mad place, they relax because they see it's a very relaxed place. And well, the architecture is different, some of the people are a bit different, and the way people do things are different. But everyone who comes here and walks around normally just relaxes a lot and say, oh, this is just great. I would never live like that, but of course they should be able to do that. Or people say, I want to live like that, where can I sign up? And
for people that are visiting Christiania, what are some things that they should go to and they should see?
Well,
And where can they find a map?
well, there are maps a lot of places in the info stand. There are some maps you can get, and there's a long list of different things that you can see. But I would say the best thing is to just walk around and not necessarily have it planned out, but get lost and look at some of the houses and look at the nature and just feel the atmosphere, and maybe go out and drink a beer or smoke a joint or go to a concert, whatever. There's a lot of possibilities, but I would say just try to get lost here.
So that was Christiania. We are about to move back into the EU because we've been officially outside of it for the last couple of hours. I hope you can see as you're walking around that it's beautiful. There are lakes, there are incredibly built houses. It's really not what you expect when you read articles about this hippie enclave of 1,000 people who are leaving civil society and not paying taxes and opting out of the real world. It's just not like that. You can see for yourselves. Yeah, it's got vegetarian cafes and it's got people sitting around playing music and it's got loads of art on the walls, but it's also got a lot of people starting art classes, organising music groups, you know, building bicycles. There's so much energy and so much going on here.